All right, let's just jump right in. The last 7 days, what a week. It's been this crazy storm of news that, on the surface, feels totally random, right? You've got a new AI model here, a market crash over there, and then this flood of new video games. But here's the thing. These are not separate events. They're all pieces of one giant unfolding story, a story we're calling the Spark Revolution.
And that really brings us to the big question of the day. Because, honestly, that's what we just saw happen. We're talking about a sudden, almost violent revolutionary shift that has completely redrawn the map for developers, for investors, and yeah, for gamers too.
So, to make sense of all this chaos, we've laid it out like a 5-act story. First, we're going to pinpoint the single spark that lit this whole thing up. Then, we'll follow the money and the market shockwaves. After that, we'll check out the new corporate battlegrounds that have just opened up. From there, we'll see how this is completely changing entertainment. And finally, we'll ask, what does this new world actually mean for us?
So, where did it all start? The very first domino to fall, the one event that kicked off this entire industry-wide earthquake. It came from one company, OpenAI.
This is the number that changed everything. OpenAI dropped its new Spark model, and it processes code at an insane 1,000 tokens per second. Now, to put that in perspective, the models we were using before this topped out at maybe 150 tokens a second. This isn't just an improvement, this is like going from a horse and buggy to a fighter jet, literally overnight.
So what even is a token? Well, you can think of it as a basic building block for the AI. It could be a word or just a little piece of code. Now, try to imagine an AI processing 1,000 of those building blocks every single second. That's the kind of power that doesn't just nudge an industry forward, it completely rewrites the rulebook.
And when the rules get rewritten that fast, Wall Street feels it. And they feel it instantly and, well, brutally. This single announcement sent massive tremors through the financial markets. $1 trillion. That's how much value got vaporized in what people are already calling the SaaS-pocalypse. Think about it. The entire software-as-a-service industry, which was built on older ways of coding, suddenly looked like a dinosaur. Investors panicked. They realized OpenAI Spark could automate, or maybe even just flat-out replace, huge chunks of that market, especially coding tools or automatic report generators. And this quote just nails it. This wasn't just abstract numbers on a screen. It hit real people, even titans like Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. His personal wealth took a massive nosedive. What this tells us is that in this new landscape, even the undisputed king of AI hardware was suddenly vulnerable. No one was safe.
A shockwave this big isn't going to go unanswered, right? The other tech giants weren't about to just sit back and watch OpenAI run the table. What happened next was the immediate start of a new corporate arms race for AI dominance.
And boom, the first shots were fired almost immediately. In this clash of the titans, competitors started scrambling to announce their own models, like Claude 4.6 trying to go toe-to-toe with OpenAI's Spark. The AI arms race isn't coming anymore. It is officially on, and it's moving faster than any of us expected. But wait, there was a twist in the hardware story. How did OpenAI make this massive leap and seemingly catch NVIDIA flat-footed? Well, the answer was a surprise partner, a company called Cerberus Systems. They were the ones who provided the specialized chip that made this whole project possible, proving that the hardware game is now way more complicated than just a one-horse race.
But you don't count a giant like NVIDIA out. A king doesn't just give up the throne that easily. Their immediate countermove was a huge $3.8 billion bet on data centers. They're basically saying, fine, even if we don't power every single AI model, we're going to own the infrastructure where all that AI has to live. It's a classic power play.
And this whole war isn't just being fought between companies anymore. It's opened up a whole new front with regulators. You see, with so much power being concentrated in the cloud, governments are starting to pay attention. The FTC is now taking a hard look at Microsoft for its dominance, which tells you the future of this tech war won't just be decided in Silicon Valley.
Okay, so we've covered the corporate chess match and the financial drama. But this revolution isn't just about code and stock tickers. That same raw power that's shaking up boardrooms is also unleashing a creative explosion in entertainment. And the gaming industry? Oh, it felt the aftershocks almost immediately. It all started with an absolute bombshell from Sony. Out of nowhere, and I mean nowhere, a brand new God of War game, Sons of Sparta, just appeared on the PlayStation Store. No marketing, no big press conference, just there. That's the word everyone's using for it. Shadow dropped. It's such a bold, confident move.
It signals a new era where you don't need a massive marketing campaign if your product is just that good. You can just drop it and let the internet explosion do the work for you.
And as if one major surprise wasn't enough, another legendary series came roaring back. Capcom announced Resident Evil Requiem, and they're promising a true return to the franchise's scary roots. And here's the key part. Look at the quote on the slide. Next-gen engine. See? This is where it all connects back. The same technological leaps that created the Spark model are now letting game developers build worlds that are more realistic and, frankly, more terrifying than anything we've ever seen before.
And the announcements just kept piling up. We got a dose of nostalgia with the Metal Gear Solid collection, a promise of pure, unadulterated action with the new John Wick game, and a brutally raw new look at Marvel's Wolverine. The sheer volume was just staggering. It felt like a dam finally broke, unleashing years of pent-up creative energy, all supercharged by these powerful new tools.
So, after a week that shook both Silicon Valley and the gaming world to their absolute core, what's next? Let's zoom out for a second and look at what this all means and where the Spark revolution might be heading.
First off, this isn't just contained to our screens. NVIDIA, even with its stock market troubles, announced a huge collaboration with a company called Joby for autonomous flight in cities. This is the real-world stuff. The same tech that's disrupting software today is getting ready to completely reshape our cities tomorrow.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, the sources give us a pretty clear checklist. If you're a developer, you need to be testing Spark like yesterday. If you're an investor, that old software playbook is officially dead. You got to reevaluate everything. For gamers, the message is simple. Go download Sons of Sparta. And for everyone else, get ready for some network volatility. All this new power is going to stress our internet infrastructure in new ways. We've just watched a single technological spark ignite a revolution that redefines software, finance, and entertainment in just a handful of days. It really leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question to think about. If this is what 1 week in the new era looks like, who and what gets shaken up next?